Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow travelers. Oblix here, and today I want to talk to you about the Strumento Marino Missouri Series 2. How y'all doing today? This was our Watch Gang Black Tier subscription, one of two that we got for the month of August 2018. So I've had this guy for about a month, a little over a month, and I've spent some time with him, and I want to share my thoughts. We did do an unboxing video when we received it. Let's take a look here. We've got an outer sleeve, got the hard box, kind of an interesting design with that light blue on the inside there, branded all the way around. Pop the lid, and there's the piece. You guys have seen this before if you saw the unboxing. So we won't get too much into all that. We've been there, done that. Got the card, the tag, blah blah blah. And there she is, guys, the Strumento Marino Missouri Series 2. Boy, that's a mouthful. And right off the bat, it's definitely interesting colors. I like the red. It's a good choice. I don't have many red watches, so having a red watch is a nice mix. I will say Watch Gang kind of let me down because rubber straps are at the very bottom of my wish list. You get to pick a wish list of, I'd like the watch to have this and this and this. Strap materials at the top of my list, most important thing. Rubber is at the bottom of that list. So my least favorite option, below leather and NATO and stainless steel. So all three of those are above rubber, yet I got a rubber watch, so you didn't meet my request there. And I understand you can't meet it every single time. I'm not trying to say you can. But it would be nice. The closer you can get, the better. This is the first one I've gotten that did not meet that requirement. And yeah. So this is a very polarizing piece. One of the first things I noted on the unboxing was this red pusher is aluminum and it's a different color red than everything else on the watch. And that just bugs the snot out of me. It bugged me then, it bugs me now, it's bugged me the whole time. I think it's cool that they did it. I just think if you're gonna do it, you need to match all the other red or cut out all the other red. Pick one. Don't give me this both thing. It doesn't work for me. The rubber insert in the crown, and this is rubber. The red texture or red little speed bumps going around the edge of the crown here. These are rubber, just like the band. It's horrid. It adds nothing to the watch. I don't like the look of it. It doesn't add any grip to it whatsoever. I think it's a waste and not very attractive. The dial. I'm actually okay with the dial. We have these circular rings deep inside here. We've got the one, of course, red chronograph dial. Actually, it's a 24-hour dial over there. And then we got at the 3 o'clock, we got the chronograph at the 6 and the 9. Now they have gone with the sweeping second hand for the clock is the large hand. The chronograph seconds is down here at the 6 o'clock. You'll see if I hit the start button. There you go. You see that little hand at the 6 o'clock is starting to move. It is my preferred way of doing a chronograph, but I'm in the minority on that. Most people want the chronograph to be that big hand and the little hand at the 6 to be the second hand for the clock itself, because when you're using a chronograph, seconds matter. You want to be able to read those clearly, and you absolutely cannot read them clearly on this particular chronograph. So as a chronograph, it's not very good. If you're needing precise measurements and you're wanting a chronograph for precise measurements, this is not the one for you. You can see that not every second is marked down here at the 6 o'clock complication, and you're going to miscalculate the time. So yeah, I don't recommend it if you're needing the actual chronograph function. If you just like the looks of it, hey, go for it. It's all for you, bro. But if you're needing it for a chronograph, there's much better ones and at much better prices. We're going to talk about that. Strumento does not indicate what that glass is on their website. However, right here on the back, it does say hard proof mineral glass. Mineral glass at this price point is a joke. At the price point they want to sell this watch for. Now, granted, we're into the MSRP game. A lot of manufacturers, boost up their watch. Try to sell it for more than it's actually worth. But at the price point they're wanting, mineral glass is unacceptable. It absolutely should be sapphire. You do get a nice little dome, and you get that nice little mineral glass distortion when you twist it. So if that's a thing for you, hopefully you can kind of see it in there. Then again, all you. It's like I said, it's a very polarizing watch. It's one you're either going to love it because you love it, or you're going to hate it because it doesn't do all the things it should do. It doesn't tick all the boxes it should tick. The black coating is not PVD. PVD is premium. Nowhere on Strumento's site does it indicate PVD. Therefore, we can assume it's not PVD. Like I said in the unboxing, it feels very tacky. Even after quite a bit of wear, and quite a bit of, constantly wiping it to try and keep it clean, because that is something with it. With the tackiness of this material, it does not stay clean. Every little fingerprint not only shows, but can't be removed. And see, I'm sitting here rubbing this fingerprint right here, and it will not come off. What I'll have to do is get it wet to get that to come off. And, it's just the poor quality of the material you use to coat this thing. It has held up fairly well. Haven't got any scratches on it, but I haven't hardware it either. I work in an office environment. Most of the time I'm wearing, especially watches that, let's be honest, I really don't like. I'm wearing them to the office for work that day, just to make sure I do get some wrist time on them. And, in just general day-to-day office wear, it has not worn. Now, I do, wear it as I type and things, and the buckle would normally, could potentially get scratched, some desk rash, and that hasn't happened. So the coating has held up. It's just, like I said, it has a awkward feel to it. The buckle also has that same awkward feel, and it holds fingerprints like a crazy. The indices are applied, and there is some lume down the center of each of the indices, and of course on the hour and minutes hand and on the little pip of the second hand. There's also lume on the pips of the, right on the tip of each of the triangular complication hands. However, there's not lume on the actual dials of the complications, so they're absolutely useless at night, even though there's lume on the hands. Without having lume on the dial to give you an indicator of where it really is, they're not terribly useful. Moderately so, maybe in the 24-hour. Definitely the chronograph stuff, you're not going to be able to use it at night. We do have painted indices. You have them both inside the bezel and outside the bezel. Outside the bezel, they've indicated the hours for whatever reason. Inside, they've indicated the minutes. It's very awkward to me. Maybe a tachyometer would be a better choice around the outside, but they didn't choose to go that way. They just did hour markers for some silly reason, I don't know. Also, back to this little aluminum plunger here. You see how it has start and stop written on it, but you can rotate it. Well, I'm kind of anal retentive, so I would situate it, facing me, and inevitably throughout the day it would do that. So every time I looked down at the watch, it was not centered again, and that just irritated me. So I was constantly spending my day rotating it back to center. Just became annoying. And because they put a plunger on this one, they put a push button on the bottom one, and of course your crown is a rotation. You have 3 different mechanisms to engage, the functions of the watch, none of the which look alike. They all look different. It's a really weird piece. It is a screw down crown. It does feel gritty and, not very, when you pull it out, it feels very loose, very, anybody familiar with a Vostok Amphibia? That, where you pull it out and it almost feels broken? It's not on an Amphibia. It was designed that way. This one wasn't, yet it feels this, very, very similar, very loose and wobbly. Not a fan at all. But it does, rotate fairly decently. But again, just really wobbly, really loose. Just feels poor quality. It feels like it's not gonna last. Feels like if you set it too much, it's going to come, you're going to pull it one day and it's just going to come off in your hands. Just low quality. It is a branded crown, but again, you have that same weird coating, much stickier on the crown than it is anywhere else, and you'll never get fingerprints off of that sucker, at least on this particular instance. No matter how much scrubbing, no matter how moist you get it, it's always got grodies on it, and I have never been able to get those clean. So caseback is, they did do a little bit of decoration on it. I'm not knocking them on that. They have their diver, if the camera will show that, and it is a little bit textured. So not too bad. It is 10 ATM water resistant, which is 330 feet. So I wouldn't have any problem, especially with the rubber band, taking this guy in the water. Though I would be curious what the chlorine. I did not take this guy into the water. Our pool's actually closed right now. But I would be very curious to see how the chlorine interacts with this coating, if this coating holds up to it or if it loses its sheen, because it's a pretty bright, pretty shiny coating when you take the time to clean it. I just cleaned this one and it's already dirty again. But I'd be curious to see how the chlorine interacts with that. Hopefully it doesn't, but I don't know if that's actually been tested or not. Just day-to-day washing hands and stuff, it's held up. So let's take a look at the size on this guy. Pop him on the calipers, and going across, we are looking at, at 45. With the crown, you're looking at a 50, and then lug to lug, you are looking at a 58. And it's not terribly thick. We're looking at a 15. Now, one thing it has it going for it is it's relatively light. Not a super lightweight, but it's not super chunky monkey either. So it's 3.9, almost 4 ounces. Pretty much right in that little average area. Let's take a quick look at it on the wrist. We'll see at your direction there. So it is a pretty good wrist filler, and it actually looks pretty good on the wrist. Barring these couple little things we were talking about, just the general, overall look of it, that pop of red against that black actually looks pretty good. I see where they were going. It does come in several different colors, colorations. But it is, for folks with a larger wrist, I do wear a 7. So just a scoosh over a 7. And it does fill my wrist. Now they are running the Miyota JS20 movement. It's a decent movement. It's kind of bargain for a chronograph. But not bad by any means. Miyota is, of course, made by Citizen. Movements by Citizen. So you're not getting anything terrible, but you're not getting top end either. Now we need to talk about the elephant in the room. Price. Strumento Marino wants $316 US for this piece. That is asinine for what you get. There is no way on this planet that I would pay $316 for this. This is a $50 watch all day long. That you should not pay more than $50 for this watch. You should be able to walk into Walmart, find this in a plastic one of those plastic shell cases you have to use scissors or a pocket knife to cut open, and it should have a no more than a $50 price tag. That's what you're getting. That's what I feel the quality is worth, and the materials are worth. Definitely not $316. Now, this was a black tier subscription from the Watch Gang. So again, black tier subscriptions are $99, and they guarantee you a watch that they feel retails between $150 and $500. How they figured this guy is worth $150, I have no clue. It is absolutely not worth $150. You should not, under any circumstances, and I cannot be more clear on that, pay $150 for this watch. There's just so many better options out there. Better materials, actual PVD, sapphire crystal, just better, all the way around for, that price point. Even at $150, there's much better options out there than the Strumento Marino. One thing I wanted to mention about the band, this texturized rubber, and I mentioned this in the unboxing, that when I put it on for the first time, it was actually fairly uncomfortable. And I'm sticking to that. It is still, uncomfortable. This texture, they've texturized the top, this side here on the outsides, but then they've textured it all down the center here and as well on this side as well. Ooh, as well, lots of as wells. You put it on with a dry wrist and it's not a big deal. You'll feel it. It won't be as comfortable as, say, a leather or a NATO, but it's okay. The problem comes when you get a little bit sweaty or you wash your hands and a little water gets under there. It will chafe like crazy. It will drive you insane. I would absolutely, if I were going to keep this, I would pop this band off and toss it in the box and never take another look at it again. I'd slap a NATO or something like that on here. It may not fit real well because notice the strong curve. Notice the strong curve of these lugs. How they have a really deep curve on them. I'd be hesitant with what that's going to look like with a NATO. Now the lugs are way up here on the curve, way up towards the top. So there's going to be a lot of metal hanging down with nothing beneath it. Where this rubber, I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, this rubber has a curve to it as well, so it follows the taper of the lugs. So it's like one continuous piece that comes down, something Strumento got right. But because these lugs are so very, very long, the bar is way up here at the top. Your NATO is going to go through and kind of come out in a straight pattern, but the lug is going to curve down, and that may look a little funny on certain wrist types. Especially the more narrow your wrist is, the more funny that's going to look. So it's just something to be conscientious about. Even a leather strap, because this rubber goes all the way up, it actually doesn't flex. It doesn't bend in there. If you were to put, just a rubber, a strap that, and we'll use this one just because it's right here handy. If you were to put a strap that has a flat top like this guy, up in here, it's going to rock around. As it rocks around, it's going to not line up with these lugs anymore. And that could look funny on certain size wrists, especially smaller wrists. So if you want to change the strap out, you need to be conscientious of that, and you might want to make sure that it's going to work for you and your wrist size and whatever style band you end up going with. So, would I buy this guy again? Nope. As soon as my 12 months are up with the Watch Gang, I'll keep him through the 12 months, because at the end of the 12 months with Watch Gang, I'll do a big layout of everything we got and kind of a review of all 12 months. At this point, it'll actually be 13 watches, because remember, we got 2 this month, or in the month of August. So I'll keep him through there, but as soon as it's over, he's gone. I will sell him. I will probably sell him dirt cheap just to get him off my inventory, because I do not want it. I will not wear it again. I do not like it. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with red rubber socks. Anywho, that is going to do it for the Strumento Marino Missouri 2, or Missouri Series 2. Good grief, what a name. Don't waste your time, guys. There's too much better out there. Go find that. Sure do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me today. Until next time, you guys get out there and make some noise. We'll see you.